Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Destiny and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're going to go ahead and start working with a cart list page. And this one, we're going to be displaying everything that we've got in our cart and we're going to be showing it in a page. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. To make sure to drop a like, consider subscribing, as it really mean the world to me. And also, if you want to get the templates that we are using in this tutorial, then make sure to check out the link in the description below. It should help you to get the template. So without any further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. So now what I'm going to do as usual is open up my code editor. And I'm just going to close up every other tabs that we've got because it's getting a little bit messy over here, as you can see. Now I'm going to be creating new views, and what you want to do is open up your view, views.py, and I'm going to be creating a new view, and that one is going to be a cart view. Okay, so I'm just going to get down here below the search, and I'm going to say define cart underscore view. So I'm going to pass in request in there. It's a parameter. Now, after we pass in requests, another thing that we want to do is go ahead and calculate the total amount of products that we've got in our cart. So what I'm simply going to say is, but before we do that, let's go ahead and return a template so we'll see what we have. So I'm going to say return render, and I'm going to pass in requests, and I'm going to say call/carts.html. Okay, so now when we've got this, open up the URL, and this one is add to cart URL, and it's going to be identical just like this one, but this one is going to be cart page URL. So hopefully you guys know that we call that cart view. So cart underscore view, and this one was cart, and I could just do the same thing over here, cart, and that should be it. So right now let's try coming over to this URL, and you want to make sure that you have your server running. So I'm going to exit from this, and I want to run python manage.py run server. I'm going to open up this terminal. Let's see what's going on. Okay, what is going on? Yeah, that's it. I'm going to run python manage.py run server, and it's running the server. So over here I'm going to come over to port 8000, and I'm going to go to /cart. It's working, but we don't have a template called cart.html, so we should copy that and create a template over here. I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit cart.html, and now if you refresh, this is what we've got. So we need to go ahead and replace this empty page with a beautiful looking page. So open up the template. You already have all this. Come over to cart.html. We're simply going to grab this, and over here I'm just gonna paste it. Okay, so right now you notice that there's gonna be a lot of things that looks ugly. If you get back here and refresh, I don't even want you to see that, but what I'm gonna do is go ahead and change it up. So I'm gonna come over to the category, and just at the top I want to grab this 3 templates tag things that we've got, and I'm gonna get rid of the head and this also, and I'm simply gonna paste it down here. And I also want to minimize the main and the footer, and I'm gonna get rid of everything over here. And what I'm simply gonna do is end block. So I'm simply gonna go ahead and end block. So I'm gonna say end block content, just like that. And now let's refresh and see what we have. So just over here, this is what I want to refresh, and okay, this is it. This is what we've got, looking pretty cool. Now another thing that I'd want to do is go ahead and add in the static file. So I'm going to come over to view command palette, and I'm going to open up auto Django, and it should go ahead and fill up the images thing for us. Okay, so as you can see, that's pretty much everything that we got. Now let's go ahead and get a couple of things. We're going to get all this data. So you can see we got 2 things in our cart, which means we should have 2 products over here. We're going to get the subtotal, we're going to get the total and everything, and that's going to be pretty cool. So in order to do that, I'm just going to get back to my view, and we should write a couple of things before we go ahead and get back to the template. Okay, so over here now, firstly let's define let's get a cart total. So I'm going to say cart underscore total amount. You call that whatever you want, and I'm gonna set it to 0. So initially there's not going to be any amount, there's not going to be any total amount for the products. Now I'm going to check for something. I'm going to check if there is cart data object in the session. So if there's cart underscore data underscore object in request.session and request.session, and I'm simply gonna go ahead and loop through the items that we have in the session, and I'm going to display it in the template. Okay, so how do we do that? So in order to loop through it, I'm simply going to say then I could call this one product underscore ID for product underscore ID, and this is not product underscore ID. Now you could call this whatever you want, and I could also say item also in. Then I'm gonna loop through everything in the request dot session. So request dot session, and what is the session called? It's called cart underscore data obj. Yeah, cart underscore data underscore obj. And now what do we want to get? We want to get the items that's in the session, so I'm going to use the items method over there. So hopefully you get this. Now I'm going to make this PID. I think that's shorter, right? Yeah, so for PID and items in request dot session, this session over here, now what do we want to do? Let's go ahead and get the total amount and multiply it. So I'm gonna say the cart underscore total amount, which is 0, should be plus equals, which is also the same thing as equal to. Then I'm gonna say integer over here, and I'm simply gonna say item in there, and we want to get a quantity. So hopefully you know that the way we were getting all this over here, quantity requires the get quantity, that's the way we get quantity, right? So now we get the quantity of all of each product. Let's say we've got banana and we have 2 quantity over there. We got a quantity like this and want to go ahead and multiply it by the price of the banana. So 2 times, let's say $5, which is it, then that should be 10, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and open up a float over here, and I'm simply gonna say item, and what do we want to get? We want to get the price. Okay, so we multiplied it by that. Okay, so that's pretty much what you want to do. Now I should go ahead and okay, when we've done this, I'm gonna return the template for it immediately. Okay, this template should be here. What's of if we don't have anything in that session? So if there is nothing like that in the session, then what do we want to do? We could also still go ahead and return this. Okay, as simple as that. Now one more thing that I'm gonna do is go ahead and add in all some data in here. So follow along with what I want to do. Now we've got this right. Let's take a close look at what we got over here. I'm gonna grab this. So remember we've got this. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and grab it from over here all the way to the end. I'm gonna grab this, and just in here I'm gonna paste it. Okay, and remember I call this data, but now we could call this cart data. Now it's totally up to you what you want to call it. You could still stick with data, there is no problem there, but I'm going to call mine cart data, and I'm going to say request the session, and I get the current session, which is cart data object. And also I got the total cart items, which is pretty much getting the length of everything, all the items that's in the cart. And after doing that, let's go ahead and get and pass in the total amount. So remember it's this over here, cart total amount. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm gonna paste it in the string, and also I'm gonna paste in the value. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. Let's go ahead and start doing this in the template. And actually one more thing that I'd want to do is this. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this, or I could duplicate it and I could just put it down here, and I'm gonna get rid of this one. But what I want to get rid of here now is this request the session thing, which means because there is no session, right? So I'm just gonna get rid of this. Or you know what, we could just leave it in an empty string, which means the session is empty. Okay, so now that's pretty much what you want to do. Now let's go ahead and hop over to the cart and start playing around with it. Okay, so in the cart HTML, and I'm gonna look for where we have the for loop. So let's see, over here we have field roast, blah blah blah. So I'm gonna search for field roast. That's it. So this is a table row, right? So I'm gonna collapse this. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. We got this 3 table rows. Now we want to get rid of all these other ones, which is gonna leave us with only 1. Okay, so there was a problem. Now I'm just gonna comment all this out again, and I want to really get rid of it. Okay, so now if we refresh, we should have only 1 of this, but there is a problem. It says could not convert string to float. Okay, what might the problem be? Could not convert string to float. Could it be that there was no price? Yeah, it could be that there is no price. Okay, so let me come over to the inspect, and I'm gonna open up my application. I'm gonna open up application. Let's clear out this. Now if for any reason we don't even have anything, we should have that. Okay, this is because there is nothing in the I think in the session. Yeah, so now let's refresh this, and let's try adding to cart. From over here we added something to the cart. Now let's refresh this. Okay, this is giving us the problem, right? I think it's because from the price we are not getting something. Definitely it should be from the price. So I'm gonna search for products dash detail, and I want to look for the price. So I'm gonna look for price. This is it. Products dot price. Okay, that's it. This is supposed to be p dot price. That was the problem. Okay, so hopefully we found that. And over here I'm gonna clear this out, and let's refresh this. I'm gonna refresh. Now we have this key error thing because we don't have any session. Okay, now there is gonna be a problem if a user just gets to, let's say a user just came over to our site and they just tried opening up the cart. So there's gonna be a problem, right? It's gonna show this error, and we don't want that. So what we could do is go ahead and let's get back here and see what we could do. So if cart data, now if cart data requires a session, we do that. What if there is nothing there? Can we just go ahead and redirect them back to the home page? So we could say return redirect, and let's say we want to redirect them back to the home page, which means that there is nothing in the cart, right? And we could even give a message. So we could say something like messages dot success, and okay, that should be warning, right? Yeah, that should be warning. So I'm just gonna come over here and I'm gonna say messages dot warning, and this should be firstly you should take in request. Then we should say your cart is empty. Okay, now I want to go ahead and import the messages thing. So I'm gonna say from Django.contrib, I want to go ahead and import messages. That's cool. Now we're gonna get down here real quick, and we say this, right? So now let's refresh this. Okay, yeah, your cart is empty. That's pretty cool. Instead of just showing up the error, right? Yeah, that's cool. So now what we could do is go ahead and change up this button, so that when we click on it we get to the cart, and we want to get rid of all these other things also. Now one thing that we could do is also go ahead and change up all those items over here, right? We could change up those items by simply grabbing this and putting it in the context. But for now, let's not do that. Let's fix what we want to do, which is come over here and change the carts, this one over here. So I'm gonna look for carts. Remember, this is it. Now we got these two products in here, right? So this is it. Request the session. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm simply gonna come over here, and I want to get rid of this and open up URL tags, and I'm simply gonna come over to core/cart. Okay, as simple as that. I'm gonna copy that, and another thing that I want to look for is request.session, this one. Yeah, so I'm gonna get rid of this, and I'm gonna paste it down there. Okay, real cool. And I want to look for this request.session thing again, this first one at the top, and I want to get rid of those products that we got down here. I don't think I need those products, so I'm gonna get down here and I'm gonna get rid of this product, and also this price. I'm gonna get rid of the price. What we're gonna stick with is just the checkout, okay, and also view carts. And I'm gonna put the URL thing core/cart. Okay, now for the checkout, we don't have a checkout page yet, so we should just leave this to be empty. So now if we refresh this, there's a problem, could not pass carts from core carts. Okay, yeah, that's the problem. So this is supposed to be in a string, and now let's refresh. Okay, that's it. So now over here, I think there is a problem. We didn't actually delete the right item. So this was the item that we are supposed to delete. We didn't actually delete it. So right now, as you can see, but right now if we hover, something is still working, but we need to go ahead and delete this item. I don't want to see those items over there. So I'm gonna get rid of, this is it. So this URL over here, you wanna simply minimize this over here. I'm gonna minimize this, and firstly I want to get rid of this URL, and I'm gonna get rid of this price, and that should be it. Okay, so we could go ahead and also add in this thing just like we did before. So now if I refresh this is what we should have now. So we could go ahead and view the cart, or we could click on this, and as you can see, it's going to redirect here and it's going to say your cart is empty. That's pretty cool. So now let's go ahead and add something to the cart. I'm going to add this. As you can see, now we have one product in the cart. I'm also going to add this, and as you can see, we got two products in the cart. So now if I open this up, our cart opens up successfully. Now we have one product over here, and that's because we haven't looped through anything. So in the cart, remember this TR thing that we've got over here. Now we need to go ahead and write a simple for loop. So over here, I'm gonna, okay, as you can see, this is what he said we should loop through. So he said we should loop through this. I'm gonna come over here, and this is it for product ID, an item in cart data.item. Remember that's the same thing that we did over here. Right? Yeah. So I'm gonna get back to the cart. I'm gonna say for product ID and that, and over here I'm simply gonna end for. So when I refresh this now, how many of this dummy data do you think you should see over here in the cart? Guess 2, right? Yeah, that's because we got 2 things over here. So what do you think is gonna happen if I get back here and I try adding one more product to my cart? I'm gonna click add, and now we have 3. So if I open this up now, we should have 3. Really great. So now let's go ahead and change up all this dummy data over here. So in order to do that, I'm gonna open this up, and let's start off with the image. That's the one's gonna be pretty easy. So I'm gonna say, remember that's gonna be item.image, and over here let's refresh. Okay, what do you notice? We changed up the image. So you don't want to add URL. Hopefully you know why you don't want to add URL. Let's refresh this. That's because this image is already a URL. So remember when we're doing things like coming over here and pasting this image, it already gets this URL. Okay, so what it's simply doing is simply like grabbing something like this and coming over here and pasting it whenever you do item image. So if you add in the URL, take note of what I'm doing now. If you add in the .url, it's still gonna do something like this again, which is not gonna work. Okay, hopefully you understand. So now you just want to stick with this. Now if we come over here and refresh, then we should see only carrots, which is not what we want. We want item image, which is gonna get all the image. Great. So now another thing that we'd want to do is go ahead and let's see, I'm gonna get rid of this. This is the price, right? So I'm gonna say item.price, and you could add a float format if you want. I'm gonna say float format, and I could stick with 2 and $5, 10, 500. Pretty great. Now let's change up the title. So this is the title over here. I'm simply gonna get back here, and I'm gonna say item.title. So I'm gonna say item.title, and yeah, that should change up the title now. But we need to go ahead and add in this link. So when we click on this, it takes us to the product. So what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna get back here, and remember, I'm gonna say URL. I'm gonna say core, and this should be products-detail. So now we're gonna get an error if we refresh this, and the error is gonna be looking for PID. Now, how do we get the PID? So if you already have an idea of what's going on, then you might be like, okay, where was I? Okay, I was here. Now if you have an idea of what's going on, you might be like, okay, why don't you do item.pid, right? That's gonna go ahead and get the PID. That's what you'd say, right? Yeah. Now, why did it get the PID? Take notes. That's because over here we are already grabbing the PID from over here. Now if we comment this out, it's still gonna work because we've added the PID to the session. But if we add new things to the session now, it's not gonna work because the PID won't be there any longer. So hopefully you understand everything that's going on. Okay, so now fresh pair, we get the carrots and we got the price. Now let's change up the quantity because that's not looking great, because as you can see right now, this is just static. It doesn't move, it doesn't do nothing. So in order to change that, I'm gonna get back here. This is the quantity that they used. I'm gonna put in mine, and I'm gonna refresh this, and that's what we've got. Really huge. I'm simply gonna say class, and I'm simply gonna pass in a width, and I'd say this width should be, let's say 25. Let's refresh. That's looking pretty good. I could say that should be 50 because on mobile that would want to be kind of big, okay, so that we could see what we are passing in here. Okay, that's awesome. Now, okay, so that should be it, right? So this is quantity. Okay, I'm just gonna stick with 25. 25 should be cool for me. And we got two of this. One is remove, one is refresh, which means over here now I'm gonna change one to refresh, and this data title, this one is now gonna be refresh. Now I'm gonna change this to refresh. So now if we refresh this, now what do you notice? We got refresh and we got this. So now what we're going to be doing is when we add up some amounts over here or quantity, and we hit this, it's going to go ahead and automatically refresh our cart page instead of us, you know, going back to the detail and increasing the quantity. We can also do it from here. Pretty cool, right? So we don't like the way this is looking. Let's go ahead and fix it off. I'm going to get rid of this class end for the refresh, and that should look great now. So now one more thing that I'd want to do is quantity. We don't have anything under quantity, and there is a problem. This is products. This is products. This is units price. Now I think we also need title. So I'm gonna refresh this. Let's see. Okay, so let's go ahead and add up the quantity before we do. Okay, there is a problem. Actually, there is a problem. Now we have, okay, we have this refresh and that, which is this two over here, right? Now we also have this price. Okay, this is supposed to be the total. Okay, I think we should just go ahead and do this real quick. And in order to do that, as you can see, this is how we calculate it. Okay, we don't have it over there. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna simply get down here and let's calculate the total price. You can leave a dollar sign out there, but I'm gonna be using width ratio. Okay, so let's get back. This is what we have now. So in order to do this, I'm gonna be using width ratio, and I'm gonna go ahead and calculate the price by whatever item that we've got. Okay, so let's say we've got a price that's $5 and we got two items. It's gonna go ahead and calculate that. Now how would we do that? I'm gonna say width ratio, just like this, width ratio, and now I want to go ahead and get the item dot price. Remember, that's how we get the price, and I'm simply going to go ahead and say 1, then item dot quantity. So the one over there is what's pretty much going to get the multiplication of whatever that we have. So now let's refresh this. Okay, nothing is showing up over there. Let's see what the problem is. We got item price, we got width ratio, item dot price, 1, item dot quantity, item dot QDY. Let's refresh this again. Okay, there is a problem because the dollar sign isn't even showing up. That means there is a problem. Okay, right? So what I could do is I'm gonna count this. We've got this. I don't think I need that one over there, which is the checkbox. I don't need the checkbox. I'm gonna get rid of it. And this should be the checkbox. I don't need it. I'm gonna get rid of it. So let's make sure everything is looking great. The first one is the image. The second is the title, right? The third is the unit price. The fourth is the nothing. So what is supposed to be in the fourth? I'm gonna get rid of the fourth and let's refresh. Okay, so that's it. I found a simple fix for this. Now this is what I did. I simply added a text center to the quantity. Now I got back all this checkboxes thing, but if you want, you could go ahead and get rid of them. But what I did was this: I just added a text center to this, and I removed the co-span. There was a co-span over here like this. You want to remove your own. Just make sure you don't have any co-span there. If we have a co-span, and let's refresh this, and I'm gonna get rid of it. So get rid of the co-span, and title, unit price, quantity, and over here you want to make sure that you leave text center, detail info, and there is no need for this. You will get rid of it. And let's refresh this. Okay, as you can see, everything is looking pretty cool right now. And one more thing that I'd want to do is to see if this is actually being calculated well. So in order to see that, I'm going to increase the quantity of this pair. So I'm going to say this time around, I want to add up 2 pairs, and I'm going to add to carts. As you can see, it's added to the cart. Now I'm going to get back to my cart, and let's see. So quantity, we don't have anything for the quantity over here. That's pretty not good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back to this number, and I'm going to change up the value for it. So I'm going to say the value should be what? That should be item.qty. Okay, so item.qty, let's see what we have. So 111. Okay, so something is not working well, because I actually changed up this fresh pattern and I tried adding it to the cart, but it wasn't incrementing it, and that's not what I want. So I'm gonna say 4, and I add this to the cart. Okay, I think it's not getting the quantity. That's because if you take a close look in the product detail where we did the hidden things, I'm gonna look for the hidden. So I'm gonna get rid of this value, but instead of getting rid of it, I'm just gonna copy this product quantity thing, but for now I'm gonna comment out that one. So we look for add to cart. I'm simply gonna look for add to cart. This is it, and I'm gonna look for the input field where we are adding. This is it over here. Cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add in a class, and I'm gonna paste that. Okay, great. So now let's try refreshing this, and let's try adding the cart again with a lot of quantity. So make sure you refresh this, and I'm simply gonna make this 3 or 4, and I'm gonna add to cart. Now let's check out the cart again. Okay, what do you notice? It's working perfectly well now. So we've fixed up all this. Now let's go ahead and get the subtotal and the total price. Right, so remember we have this over here. We have this I'm gonna get back here, this total cart items and this cart total amount. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. But before that, I'm gonna grab the total cart items and let's fix it up. So I'm gonna change this. There are 3 products in your cart. I want to get that dynamically. And how do I do that? In the cart, I'm simply gonna look for there are, and instead of 3, I'm gonna get rid of it, and I'm simply gonna paste in total cart items, but we should still say 3 because actually we have 3 there. Okay, so now when we've done that, let's go ahead and also grab the cart total, this cart total amount, and I'm simply gonna look for subtotal and total. Okay, so I'm gonna look for subtotal. This is it over here. This is the first one. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna paste this over here just like that, and I'm gonna refresh this. Now what you notice is $545. So 500 plus 40 plus 5 is 545. Okay, that's pretty cool. And where are we shipping to? We could just leave the shipping fee as free and estimated for we could get rid of all these other things over here. I don't think we need those, so I could get rid of all this. Now let's refresh. So we just have shipping fee free, and we have the total. So for the total also, let's go ahead and pass in this cart total items, and if you want, you could pass in a float format over there and stick with only 2. So I'm gonna say float format, and let's stick with only 2 decimal places. And I'm also gonna say float format also, and I'm gonna stick with 2 decimal places. So let's refresh this, and as you can see, that's what we've got. So I think that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully we finished up everything, and as you can see, this is what we have. Add the cart total amount and the template. Yeah, we did that. And I think, yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. In the next video, we're gonna go ahead and start deleting the product, and the upper one, we're gonna go ahead and start updating the product. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna be it. Do make sure to drop a like, consider subscribing, as it really mean the world to me. And also, if you want to get the template, check out the link in the description below. They should point you to the right direction to get the template. And until the next video, mad love, peace out.